Rome began in myth. The story of Romulus and Remus, raised by a she-wolf and destined to build a city, gave the Romans a tale of origin that was larger than life. But beyond the myth, there was history. A cluster of Latin villages along the banks of the Tiber River, trading, farming, and defending their homes. The ground was fertile, the river gave access to the sea, and the surrounding hills offered protection. Rome's position was not an accident of chance. It was a place designed for survival. Over time, these scattered villages merged, bound by necessity and ambition, until a single city began to take shape. According to tradition, this new city required leadership, and so Rome turned to kings. The monarchy lasted from 753 to 509 BC, a period remembered for 7 rulers. Whether each of them truly reigned exactly as remembered is debated, but what is certain is this: the monarchy period shaped Rome's very foundations. The kings were more than political rulers. They were lawgivers, priests, generals, and architects of society. Each was remembered as leaving behind something permanent, a custom, an institution, or a monument, and together they transformed a loose gathering of huts into the beginnings of a powerful city-state. The first of these was Romulus himself, who after the death of his brother became the sole ruler of the new city. Romulus was credited with establishing the Senate, made up of 100 of Rome's leading men, the patres or fathers, whose descendants would form the patrician class. This council of elders would long outlive the monarchy, becoming a central institution of Roman politics. He also divided the people into tribes and centuries, laying the foundation for Rome's military and civic organization. Rome under Romulus was not just a city, it was an army with walls. Romulus expanded Rome's population by inviting exiles, fugitives, and outsiders to join, offering them citizenship. But when the city lacked women, Romulus devised one of Rome's most infamous legends, the abduction of the Sabine women. A festival was declared, the women were seized, and war broke out with the Sabines. Yet when peace was made, the Sabine women themselves negotiated reconciliation, and the Sabines merged with the Romans, strengthening the young city. Romulus ruled for nearly 40 years, until his mysterious death. Some said he was struck down by the Senate, others that he was taken up to the heavens and worshipped as the god Quirinus. Whatever the truth, Romulus set the tone for the monarchy. Kings were to be more than rulers. They were the embodiment of Rome's ambition, power, and destiny. The reign of Romulus straddles the line between legend and reality. His story is filled with divine intervention, violence, and founding myths. Yet buried within it are real truths: Rome's early openness to outsiders, its reliance on military strength, its hunger for expansion, and its blending of cultures. What Romulus began would be carried on by those who followed. The kings who came after him would add layers of religion, law, and infrastructure, turning Rome from a frontier settlement into the most formidable city in Latium. Rome's second king, Numa Pompilius, was said to be a Sabine, chosen after a period of interregnum. Where Romulus had been a warrior, Numa was remembered as a man of peace, wisdom, and piety. He is credited with shaping much of Rome's religious life, establishing key priestly offices such as the Pontifex Maximus, the chief priest, founding sacred colleges like the Vestal Virgins, guardians of the eternal flame of Vesta, introducing rituals, festivals, and temples that gave Rome a rhythm of worship and identity. Numa was said to have organized the Roman calendar, structuring the year with months and religious observances. Whether all these reforms came from one man or not, what is clear is that Rome, once a gathering of warriors, became a society bound by law and religion. Numa gave Rome more than peace. He gave it institutions that would endure for centuries. After Numa's death, Rome turned once again to war. The third king, Tullus Hostilius, revived Rome's militaristic spirit. Under Tullus, Rome waged wars against neighboring cities, most famously against Alba Longa, the ancient city said to be the birthplace of Romulus and Remus themselves. Tradition remembers the conflict being settled by the duel of the Horatii and Curiati, three brothers from each city who fought to determine victory without further bloodshed. Rome triumphed, Alba Longa was destroyed, and its people absorbed into Rome. Tullus expanded Rome's territory, but he also emphasized discipline, training, and the strengthening of military might. Yet Tullus was remembered as neglecting the gods. Legend says his lack of piety led to disaster, and he was struck down by a plague or divine wrath. Rome, it seemed, could not abandon the balance between war and worship. Rome's fourth king, Ancus Marcius, sought that balance. Tradition says he was the grandson of Numa, and he combined piety with practicality. Ancus was a builder. Under his reign, Rome's first bridge across the Tiber, the Pons Sublicius, was constructed. He fortified the Janiculum Hill, strengthening Rome's defenses. Most importantly, he founded Ostia, Rome's port at the mouth of the Tiber, connecting the city to the Mediterranean. Ancus was also remembered for expanding Rome's territory through both war and diplomacy. His reign gave Rome stability, structure, and a growing reputation among its neighbors. From Romulus to Ancus Marcius, Rome's monarchy was more than legend. Each king, whether remembered as warrior, priest, or builder, added something vital. Rome became not just a city of soldiers, but a society with law, religion, and trade, a city both feared and respected. But Rome's ambitions did not stop here. In time, new rulers would come, men of foreign blood and greater ambition who would leave their own mark on the city and push it closer to greatness and to tyranny. With the early kings, Rome had found its rhythm, war, religion, and construction, all weaving together to form a city of strength. But in time, foreign ambition and rising power would shape the monarchy in new ways. The later kings of Rome, remembered in both legend and history, would push the city toward greatness and toward its breaking point. Rome's fifth king, Lucius Tarquinius Priscus, was said to be of Etruscan origin. His rise to the throne marked an important shift. Rome was no longer just a Latin Sabine settlement, but now deeply connected to the powerful and advanced Etruscan civilization. Tarquinius expanded the Senate, strengthened Rome's army, and embarked on ambitious building projects. He began the construction of the Cloaca Maxima, Rome's great sewer, which drained the marshes and prepared the ground for the Roman Forum. He also initiated work on the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus on the Capitoline Hill, a structure that would symbolize Rome's devotion to the gods and its growing might. Under Tarquin, Rome grew in prestige, but also in complexity. It was no longer just a local power, but a city looking outward, drawing on foreign influence and ambition. After Tarquin's death, the throne passed to Servius Tullius, remembered as one of Rome's greatest reformers. His origins are shrouded in legend. Some said he was born a slave, destined for greatness. Servius's reign is remembered for his sweeping reforms. He organized a census, dividing Romans into classes based on wealth. This structured both taxation and military service, ensuring that Rome's armies reflected the strength of its citizens. He expanded Rome's boundaries, uniting the 7 hills into one city, symbolizing the growing unity of the Roman people. He strengthened Rome's social fabric, balancing power between the patricians and plebeians. Servius's reign brought order and structure, but his popularity and reforms also earned him enemies, especially within the royal household itself. Rome's final king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, came to power through violence, seizing the throne after the murder of Servius Tullius. His reign was remembered for its tyranny. Tarquin the Proud ruled without the Senate's counsel, silencing opposition and ruling with fear. He continued vast building projects, completing the Temple of Jupiter. But his legacy was not of piety or construction. It was of arrogance and oppression. The final blow came not from his rule alone, but from his family. His son, Sextus Tarquinius, was said to have violated the noblewoman Lucretia, whose tragic death sparked outrage across Rome. The people, led by men like Lucius Junius Brutus, rose in rebellion. In 509 BC, the monarchy was overthrown. Tarquin and his family were exiled. Rome had endured kings for over 2 centuries, but the memory of tyranny ensured they would never allow another. The later kings of Rome left their mark in stone and in blood. Tarquinius Priscus brought ambition and foreign influence. Servius Tullius brought reform and order. Tarquin the Proud brought tyranny, and with it, the end of monarchy itself. From this point forward, Rome would be ruled not by kings, but by magistrates and the Senate, under a new system they called the Republic. It was a system born from fear of tyranny, and one that would define Rome for the next 5 centuries.